Hello everyone and welcome to the boss guide for AloAlo Island. Make sure to check out my other video if you need to do all 12 routes for this dungeon. But for now, let's go over every boss in here so you don't get caught off guard by their mechanics. QuaQua is going to be the first boss for every portal in AloAlo. He has a couple different variations for each path, but let's start with his base mechanics first. He starts off with Made Magic. This is arena-wide damage, and the first cast he does will also create a pretty ring around the edge of the arena. This will give you a bleeding debuff if you step into it. Made Magic will also create these blue orbs around the arena that will become tethered to QuaQua. Arcane Armaments will send green orbs towards the blue ones with a symbol inside. These axe symbols will create large circle AoEs around each blue orb. He will cast this combo again, starting with Made Magic. This time, Arcane Armaments will have these circular chakrams inside the green orbs. After you experience both of those, he will combine them and do a combo of donut and circle AoEs together. Make sure you find yourself a safe spot. Another version of Arcane Armaments will give QuaQua these hammers. Hammer landing will cause QuaQua to jump to each numbered orb around the arena and do a whirlwind, which will knock players back. If you are not positioned properly, you will get in that bleeding debuff, so either pop your sprint or knockback immunity. Arcane Armaments can also give QuaQua these swords on each side. This will have him cast Route after, which will create these golden lines across the map, indicating QuaQua's path that he will dash in wide line attacks. Violet Storm is a cone-shaped AoE that goes off in the direction QuaQua is facing. He starts this by just stopping and facing a direction, so make sure you walk behind him. In the left portal, if the weather is nice and sunny, Howl will summon these serpent-looking monsters that will do line AoEs across the arena. These will split apart and continue across. If the weather is rainy while you're fighting QuaQua in the left portal, his Howl will instead summon lizards that will do circle AoEs of lightning that travel down the map. In the middle portal, if you did not make the floor poison in the monster group before QuaQua, his Arcane Armaments will summon these little spears on the outside of the map. These will shoot into the arena in circle AoE, so make sure you avoid those first. They will straighten out and a cross will form on each spear. One will be rotating clockwise, the other counterclockwise. I have found the safest way to avoid both crosses is to stand on the north side of the middle where they intersect and just slowly move forward as they rotate, and you will stay in the safe zone. If you did make the floor turn into poison, he will summon 3 spears on the outside. These will again shoot into the arena and start to form circle AoEs of poison that slowly expand. There will be 2 little safe spots you can squeeze yourself into. In the right portal, if you fix the statues, QuaQua will cast Arcane Pursuit. At first, this will summon 4 purple spears, and this is just basically a demonstration of what to do next, so just DPS the boss while you watch. He will cast it again and a purple orb will become tethered to each player. You'll just have to run around until the statues recharge themselves, and once you see this blue lane, drag your purple orb inside and the statue will free you from it. If you left the statues broken, you'll have a series of fear attacks that you'll have to avoid from the statues. They usually do it 2 statues at a time, so make sure you're facing away properly. The second boss in the left portal is going to be this colorful flying whale called Ketuduke. He is going to start off the fight with his arena-wide damage skill, Tidal Roar. This will also create a ring on the outside that will give a bleeding debuff on the first cast. Strewn bubbles will create these little bubble circles in the middle of the map. They will go down their lane in alternating directions, and then erupt in water, causing some damage if you're standing in them. Blowing bubbles will form these bubbles on the outside of the arena. These will slowly make their way to the other side of the arena, so make sure you avoid it properly. Receding Twin Tides is going to be a circle AoE surrounding Ketuduke, and right immediately after he will cast Far Tide, which is a large AoE with a safe spot right by him. Alternatively, he can cast Encroaching Twin Tides, which is basically the opposite, the safe spot being by him, and then Near Tide immediately following as the circle AoE surrounding him. The first cast of Spring Crystals will drop these spheres all over the map. These are going to do circle AoE, so make sure you're not standing too close to them. Ketuduke will then cast Spring Crystals again and drop rectangles now. These will do line attacks in the lane they are in, so make sure you're not standing in the same lane as the rectangle. And then Ketuduke will use Spring Crystals to show off another skill, Bubble Net. This does do arena-wide damage that I always forgot about, but this is going to capture the symbols in a bubble. Fluke Typhoon will then push the bubble 2 lanes down. So make sure you're paying attention to where the bubbled symbol is going to end up and stand accordingly. Then he will combine the spheres and rectangles with Fluke Typhoon and Bubble Net, so make sure you find yourself a safe spot between all the circle AoEs and the line attacks. While this is going on, he's going to be casting Hydro Bomb as well, which is just 3 circle AoEs of water wherever the players are standing. If you chose to let the Lala get attacked earlier in the dungeon, he will come back with a vengeance. Once again, Ketuduke will do his little Spring Crystal Bubble Net combo, and the Lala will summon an Apple monster that will become tethered to you. I never did figure this out until after I finished Ketuduke, but just run away and the tether will break. If you chose to save the Lala, Ketuduke will cast Tidal Wave, which is going to knock players back to the eastern part of the map. And a big water line will divide the map in half, so you're pretty much stuck on this side. But don't worry, the Lala will come back and help you out. Once these bubbles form, make sure you get yourself inside of a bubble, and Fluke Typhoon will push you towards the west side, saving you from damage. If you got the bait from the sand, Ketuduke will cast Roar, which will summon the monster that Matsuya fished up. One will be captured in a bubble with Bubble Net. Make sure you are standing on the side with the monster that is not in a bubble. If you got the bait from the rock pile, again, Ketuduke will summon the monster that was fished up. It is a game of opposites, not Simon Says, so if the monster is inside the bubble, do not go inside the bubble. If the monster is outside of a bubble, make sure to get yourself in, unlike me, or else you will be hit by the AoE. The second boss in the metal portal is going to be Lala. Their skills definitely tripped me up, so here I am to help you out so you don't struggle as much as me. To start off, Lala will cast Inferno Theorem, which is the arena-wide damage that will create the bleeding debuff ring around the edge of the arena. Right after, Lala will cast Arcane Blight. This is a big AoE with a cone-shaped safe spot. After the first cast, there will also be this little circle right on Lala that indicates which direction the safe spot is going to turn, either clockwise or counterclockwise. It is nice that it counts it down so you know how much time you have left before the cast goes off to figure out where you need to stand. Arcane Plot will summon these arrows all around the arena. These will go down their lanes in the direction they are facing, so make sure you find yourself a square that is not going to get hit by any of the arrows. The upgraded version of Arcane Plot will add these darkened arrows on the other side. The lighted arrows will basically transfer to these and cover the whole arena save for one safe lane. While this happens, Lala is going to cast Calculated Trajectory, which gives you a debuff. This will force you to run in the direction the arrow underneath you indicates. But you will also have the counter clockwise and clockwise circle, which will switch the direction you're going to run. This took me a few tries to figure out because I'm directionally challenged. Lala will also cast Inferno Theorem, so pop your shield before you're forced to walk. Especially if you're unsure which direction you're walking, you'll be more likely to survive, even if you get hit with the bleeding debuff. Analysis is going to give you a debuff telling you which side you are immune to damage. Targeted light will damage you unless you face the direction indicated by the golden ring around you. Again, the upgraded version of this combo will involve the rotating sphere, so make sure you figure out which way to face so you don't get hit. Strategic Strike is Lala's Take Buster skill. If you did not scare the armadillos away earlier, Lala will cast Faunal Figure. The armadillos will jump into the arena, causing proximity damage, so make sure you're far away from the landing circles. If you did scare the armadillos, Lala will cast Floral Figure instead. This will drop seeds onto the arena. When these sprout, they will do donut AoEs. Lala will upgrade this with Arcane Plot, so try to find a safe spot between the bleeding debuff lines and the donut AoEs. If you let Jemai leave and the tree monsters woke up, Lala will cast Constructive Figure. This will summon the tree monsters on one side of the arena. These do line attacks, so make sure you're not standing in the same lanes as them. Lala will combine it with Arcane Plot later on as well. If you attacked Jemai and she ran away before the trees woke up, Lala will cast Volcanic Coordinates. This will drop a circle AoE wherever you're standing. There is a few seconds in between the AoEs. Again, Lala will combine this with Arcane Plot. The second boss in the right portal is going to be the fairy Statice. I'm gonna call her Stacy because my brain can't comprehend her actual name every time. Unlike other bosses, Stacy doesn't create a ring around the arena. Instead, there will be a hidden landmine in the center of the arena that will damage and knock you up into the air if you step on it. It will disappear after a little bit if you don't. Surprise Balloon will inflate a large blue balloon in the center. 4 tons weight will create circle AoEs along the outer edge of the arena. A needle will fly at the balloon and pop it, causing a knockback. Knockback immunity does work, so you can pop that if you'd like, but if not, just avoid the AoEs after you get knocked back. Stacy will reload her gun during Trick Reload. Make sure to pay attention to which bullets she fails to land in her gun. She will then cast Trigger Happy, which will be cone-shaped shots. Each cone will have a sum of spheres in it. Make your way to the cone that has a number matching the bullet she dropped. So if she dropped bullet 4, stand in the cone that has 4 spheres to avoid the damage from Trigger Happy. Pinwheel will summon 3 giant fireballs that will shoot out fire and rotate clockwise or counterclockwise. She will then combine Trigger Happy with either Pinwheel or Surprise Balloon for a combo attack, so make sure you're paying attention to which mechanics you need to do. Arrow 4 is arena-wide damage that I rarely caught because I was too busy paying attention to other mechanics. Shocking Abandon is her Tank Buster. Dartboard will turn the arena into a little roulette wheel. You'll need to avoid some circle AoEs while attacking her. I personally only experienced the red attack in all of my Stacy fights. This will cause a meteor to land in the center of the arena, doing damage and a knockback. However, if you do get the other colors, the yellow will do proximity damage and the blue will drop AoEs on all players. If you chose to follow Stacy, she will cast Whoopee Cushion. Walk onto one of these shadows and it will reveal the cushion. Stay on it because she will cast Fair Flight, which will throw you into the air. If you did not follow Stacy and left the treasure alone, she will cast Present Box. This will summon a bunch of things you'll need to avoid. 2 staffs will do donut AoEs, while the other 2 will do line attacks in the direction of the player. There will also be a little toy tethered to you that you will need to keep a distance from. There are also missiles slowly going across the arena as well, so make sure you avoid all of that. If you did touch the treasure and summon the mimic, Stacy will cast Jack in the Box. This will summon 4 large chests. 3 of these will move slightly. Stand by the one that does not move, because the others will do large circle AoEs. The secret and final boss of AloAlo Island is going to be this carved doll, Loquloqui. This is the only time you'll fight Loku, so there are no variations. To start off, Loku will cast its arena-wide damage skill, Long Lost Light. This will create the debuff ring on the outside. Productive Will is the tank buster skill. Loku will face the western side of the map and cast Land Wave. This is a large AoE in this direction, so make sure you're standing on the east side of the arena. The first cast of Summoning Rite will summon sparrows on the north side of the arena. These will do line attacks. Life Flourish will make some of the birds glow. The lines for the glowing birds will expand, so make sure you're not too close to those ones. Loku will do this combo again, but with geckos, and these do circle AoEs. Again, avoid the glowing ones the most because those circles will expand. Then Loku will combine the geckos and sparrows, and you'll have to dodge the expanding lines and circles accordingly. Petals Unfurl will create these glowing spots on the arena with dashed lines. Some buds will make their way to these spots and do circle AoEs, so don't stand too close to the glowing spots. AloAlo Bloom will turn the arena into a field of flowers. Then the flowers will get removed 1 square at a time, so make sure you are not in the next square to save yourself from damage. Sky Be Mine will enlarge Loku. Once enlarged, Loku will begin casting Sanctuary, which is proximity damage. Avoid the middle of the arena for now. I did not at first and got wrecked. Once Sanctuary goes off, run to the middle. Stirring of the Spirits will form circle AoEs around the arena, and Loku will begin jumping in the center, causing damage and a knockback each time. All of these mechanics will repeat until you defeat Loku, and if you followed my route guide, congratulations, you've finished AloAlo Island and earned yourself your very own fairy mount. Make sure to check out my other videos on the variant dungeons so you can get the rest of the exclusive mounts. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I will see you in the next one for some more fun.